Okay, I was talking about different layers of LTE, right? So I discussed it about the services and functions of MAC sublayer, RLC sublayer, right? PDCP and all. So now let us discuss about the header format of PDU. Okay, that is so RLC PDU formats. Okay, so radio link layer PDU formats. So RLC PDUs can be categorized into two types. One is RLC data PDU. So PDU means packet data units. Okay. So RLC data packet data units and RLC control packet data units. This RLC data PDUs are used by RLC entities, okay, to transfer upper layer PDUs. So in RLC, one is transfer mode, right? So TM data PDU will be there. Then UM, based on UM mode, we will be having UM data PDU. Then based on AM mode, we will be having AM data PDU. So these are the three different types of PDUs which will be there in the RLC data PDUs. Okay, then as far as RLC control PDUs are concerned, so there will be peer-to-peer signaling between AM RLC entities at the two ends of the ARQ procedures. Okay. So the TMD PDU only consists of data field as no RLC header ID is added. Okay. So RLC headers are different for different PDUs, that is for UMD PDU and AMD PDU, but they contain common fields. So let us try to understand what are the different fields which are there in these headers. Okay, RLC headers of this UMD PDU and AMD PDU. Okay, so the first field is framing information field. So we call that as FI field. Okay, framing information field. So it indicates RLC SDU is segmented at the beginning and or at the end of the data field. Okay, framing information field indicates what? It indicates the RLC SDU is segmented at the beginning or at the end of the data field. So that is the purpose of framing information field. And next field is length indicator field. So this field, the length in bytes of the corresponding data field element present in the UMD or AMD PDU. Okay, so it will be saying how many bytes. Okay, there is a length of the AMD or UMD PDU. Then the next one is the extension bit field. We say E field. So data field follows or a set of extension bit field and LI field follows. So it indicates data field follows or a set of extension bit field and LI means length indicator field follows. Next bit is the SN field. So FI field, then length indicator field, then extension bit field, then SN field. So SN field indicates the sequence number of the corresponding UMD or AMD PDU. Okay, so these are the different fields which are there in the RLC, UMD and AMD PDUs. Okay, framing information field, length indicator field, extension bit field, then SN field. Yeah. Okay, so this SN field, right? Then it consists of 10 bits. Okay, for AMD PDU, then AMD PDU segments and status PDUs. So 5 bits or 10 bits for the UMD PDU. The PDU sequence number carried by the RLC header is independent of the SDU sequence number. Okay, the PDU sequence number carried by the RLC header is independent of the SDU sequence number. So that is the PDCP sequence number we said. So this is what the format is, whatever I was telling now so far, format of RLC data PDUs. So this is what the RLC header. Okay, so here I have shown with a different PDU segments. That is, first one is AMD PDU segment, next is AMD PDU, then UMD PDU, then TMD PDU. So D bar C indicates what I said. So is it possible to say each of these fields? D bar C, RF, P, FI. So I discussed it now just from these things. FI, right? That is framing information, extension bit, sequence number field. Okay, these things. Fine. Okay, so header plus data. You are aware of that, right? So this header information consists of all these different fields. So it indicates different information. Yeah. So it will be again discussed about this header field, RLC header. So D bar C is there, no? D bar C field, right? So D bar C is what? Data or control field it is. Okay. So this is about TMD PDO, UMD PDO. For AMD and AMD PDO segment, there are some additional fields, right? So compared to means like from FIE, SNE, I discussed right just now. So about D bar C is what? That is data control field. So the D bar C field indicates whether the RLC PDU is an RLC data PDU or an RLC control PDU. Okay, D stands for data, C stands for control. Then resegmentation flag field. Okay, that is here it is a RF, right? RF means resegmentation flag field. So this RF field indicates whether the RLC PDU is an AMD PDU or an AMD PDU segment. Okay. Then next is what P bit is there, right? So that is what polling bit field. The P field indicates whether the transmitting side of an AM RLC entity requests a status report from its peer AM RLC entity. Okay, so that P field indicates whether the transmitting side of an AM RLC entity requests a status report from its peer AM RLC entity. So that is about the polling bit field. Then is FI. Okay. So FI already told what is FI, then extension SN, right? In the previous slide here. Okay. Yeah. So then SO field. SO field. Yeah. SO is what? Segment offset field. The segment offset field indicates the position of the AMD PDU segment in bytes within the original AMD PDU. Okay, then LSF field, that is a last segment flag field. The LSF field indicates whether the last byte of the AMD PDU segment corresponds to the last byte of an AMD PDU. Okay, so this is all about this RLC data PDU header format. Okay, yeah. One second. Yeah, here I said no, it consists of 10 bits for AMD PDU, then AMD PDU segment, then status PDU, right? Then 5 bits or 10 bits for UMD PDU. So that is the number of bits for each PDU. So that is what is shown here: TMD PDU, UMD PDU, AMD PDU, then AMD PDU segment. You should be able to correlate this number of bits. Okay. 5 bits or 10 bits for UMD PDU and 10 bits for these three: AMD PDU, AMD PDU segment, and then status PDUs, right? Then we have told what are the fields in the header of each of these PDUs. Okay. Yeah. Status PDU. Okay, the status PDU is used by the receiving AMRLC entity to indicate the missing portions of the AMD PDUs. In that, these are the different fields. Okay, control PDU type, we call in short CPT field. So the CPT field indicates the type of the RLC. Okay, so this is about the release 8. So there are, I said, the different releases in LTE. The status PDU is the only defined control PDU. Okay, in release 8. Then acknowledgement SN field. The acknowledgement SN field indicates the SN of the next, that is sequence number of the next not received RLC data PDU, which is not reported as missing in the status PDU. Okay. Then extension bit 1, that is E1 field. So the E1 field indicates whether a set of negative acknowledgement sequence number, then extension bit 1 and extension bit 2 follows. Okay, then extension bit 2 field indicates whether a set of SO start and SO end follows. SO start and SO end. What is SO is added? That is segment offset. Okay. Then a negative acknowledgement field indicates the sequence number of the AMD PDU that has been detected as lost at the receiving side of the AMRLC entity. Then SO start field and SO end field. Okay, these two fields together indicates the portion of the AMD PDU with the sequence number is equal to negative acknowledgement sequence number that has been detected as lost at the receiving side of the AMRLC entity. Okay, so let me show the format of that. So this is the format of the status PDU. So whatever I have told so far. So, okay, this is about RLC header. So D bar, C bar, that is data control and CPT. So these things I have told what is what. Extension field 1, extension field 2, SO start, SO end, then negative acknowledgement SN. Okay, so I think first we should see this, and then if I say about those fields, means you need to understand that. Okay, acknowledgement sequence number, what is the purpose of that? Then what is E1 field? What is negative acknowledgement SN? Then E1, E2, SO start, SO end, then again negative acknowledgement SN. This is how the format of the status PDU. Then similar to that, there is a MAC PDU format. So this MAC layer PDU, MAC layer receives data from RLC. You know that, right? As MAC SDUs. And passes this MAC PDUs to physical layer. Okay, this MAC PDU consists of two parts. One is the MAC header and another one is the MAC payload. So diagrammatically it is shown like this. Okay, so this is a MAC subheader. Say MAC subheader. So each that MAC subheader, then MAC control element 1, MAC control element 2, and so on up to MAC control element M. Then MAC SDU1, MAC SDU2, and so on up to MAC SDUN. Then there will be a padding bits. So this we call it as a payload, MAC payload. Okay, so MAC control element 1 to MAC control element M, and MAC SDU1 to MAC SDUN plus padding bits together is known as the MAC payload. Okay, so this is about the example of MAC PDU. Okay, which consists of what? MAC header, then MAC control element, then MAC SDU, and as well as padding. Okay, so the MAC PDU format. So similar to that, what is the MAC PDU format? So the MAC payload consists of 0 or more MAC SDUs, right? So MAC payload has a MAC SDU also, MAC control element and padding, right? So it says it may have 0 or more MAC SDUs. Then similarly 0 or more MAC control elements and optional padding. So the MAC PDU header, so whatever is shown here, MAC PDU header, that consists of one or more MAC PDU subheaders. Then each subheader corresponds to either a MAC SDU, a MAC control element, or padding. Okay. So MAC PDU header consists of one or more MAC PDU subheader. Then each subheader corresponds to either a MAC SDU, a MAC control element, or padding. So that is why it's shown here. Okay. MAC header will consist of what? MAC subheaders. Hope you are following what I am saying. The MAC PDU header consists of one or more MAC PDU subheaders, and each subheader corresponds to what? MAC control element, MAC SDU, and padding. Okay. Yes, this MAC SDU and the MAC header are in variable sizes. Okay. MAC SDU and the MAC header are in variable sizes. So the format of the typical MAC subheader is this. So R, R, E. So there are different fields. So again, we will try to understand what is the purpose of each field. LCID, F, and L. So it contains 5 fields. Okay, one is R, second is E, LCID, F, and L. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this R field always is set to 0. Okay. Then E field, it is an extension field as a flag indicating if more fields are present in the MAC header. Okay, that is the E field. Then this E field, if it is set to 1, then another set of at least this R bar, E bar, LCID fields follows. Otherwise, either a MAC SDU or the MAC control element or the padding will follow. Okay. So if it is, means if the E field is set to 1, another set of at least one R bar, E bar, LCID field follows. Otherwise, a MAC SDU, MAC control element or padding follows. Okay. Then that LCID, what I said, right? That is a logical channel ID field. So that will identifies the logical channel instance of the corresponding MAC SDU or the type of the corresponding MAC control element or padding. That is the purpose of the LCID, that is a logical channel ID. Okay, it identifies the logical channel instance of the corresponding MAC SDU or the type of the corresponding MAC control element or padding. So there is one LCID field for each MAC SDU, MAC control element or padding. Okay. So which is included in the MAC PDU. Then F field, right? So in this, after LCID, there is an F field, then L field also. So this F field, okay, this format indicates the size of the length field. Okay, so it is set to 0 if the size of the MAC SDU or MAC control element is less than 128 bytes. Okay, if the size of the MAC SDU or MAC control element is less than 128 bytes, then it is set to 0, that F field. Otherwise, it is set to 1. So there will be one F field per MAC PDU subheader. Okay. So except for the last subheader and the subheader corresponding to the fixed size MAC control elements. So then the last bit is the L field, right? So this is the length field. It indicates the length of the corresponding MAC PDU or MAC control elements in the bytes. Okay. So only here is For F field also, he says it will indicate the size of the length field. Okay, so whereas L field is the what? Length field indicates the length of the corresponding MAC PDU or MAC control elements in bytes. You need to understand the difference between these two. So what F field indicates, this format indicates the size of the length field. Means it will indicate the size of the length field, means this field it will indicate F. Which field? F field, right? If that is set to 0, I said what? The MAC STU or MAC control element will be less than 128 bytes. Otherwise, that will be set to 1. Right. So this L field, as I said, it indicates length of the corresponding MAC PDU or MAC control element that will be in bytes. Right. So the size of the L field is indicated by the F field. So which is how much? Which is 128 bytes. Okay. So for the last subheader in the MAC PDU, the MAC PDU subheader corresponding to padding and subheaders for fixed size MAC control elements. So there are only 4 header fields: R bar R, E bar, LCID. So next is the MAC control element. So hope you are getting the idea what we are discussing. MAC PDU. Oh, from this, what is MAC header, right? Then what is the MAC payload consists of, right? MAC payload consists of MAC elements. It may be 0 or more than 1. Then MAC SDU, then padding, right? Then what MAC header will have? It will have a MAC subheader. So in that, we were discussing about each field, okay? Then the MAC control element can be used for signaling for buffer status reporting. So BSR, I said, no? So for signaling for buffer status reporting, the MAC control element is used, and even for discontinuous reception command also. Okay, and it is also used for timing advance command, then user equipment's power headroom, and user equipment contention resolution. So for the purpose of performing all these functions, the MAC control element is used. Then a transparent MAC PDU means right. It consists of a MAC SDU without any MAC header, so which can be used if there is one-to-one correspondence between the MAC SDU and the MAC PDU. Then the MAC PDU for random access response has a different format. Okay, so let us try to understand what is the MAC PDU format for random access response. So there will be one MAC header, okay, that consists of one or more MAC PDU subheaders, where each subheader again contains information about the payload. So the MAC payload consists of one or more MAC random access responses, and so MAC payload consists of MAC random access responses and optional padding. So for random access response, the MAC PDU is slightly different. So it is not having MAC SDUs. Okay, instead of that, it is having MAC random access responses. So padding enabled is there. Yeah, and this is the format for the MAC PDU for random access response. So MAC header will have sub MAC subheaders, right? Then this MAC payload will have what? MAC random access responses, right? MAC random access response 1, 2, and so on up to n plus padding. So for every this diagrammatic representation is done. I think with that, it is easy to understand. Yeah, again, we are going to discuss about what MAC random access 1 consists of, right? So each MAC RAR, that is random access response, is of fixed size and consists of 4 fields. First one is the reserved bit, it is set to 0. Then second one is timing advance command. So that indicates the index value used to control the amount of timing adjustment that the user equipment has to apply. Then it is of 11 bits. Okay. Then the third bit is UL grant. There is uplink grant. So it indicates a resource to be used on the uplink. Each is of 20 bits. Okay, timing advance command has 11 bits and UL grant is having 20 bits. Then the next one is temporary CRNTI, okay, which comes under MAC RARO. So this field indicates the temporary identity that is used by the user equipment during the random access. And size of that temporary CRNTI is of 16 bits. So this is what the MAC RAR contains. 4 fields I said. No, what are those 4 fields? One is reserved bit, which is set to 0. Second one is timing advance command, so which is of 11 bits. UL grant, which is of 20 bits. Then temporary CRNTI, which is of 16 bits. Okay. Then is the ARQ procedures. Okay. So automatic repeat request procedures. So a dynamic and efficient two-layer retransmission scheme it is. Okay. So a fast hybrid ARQ protocol with a low latency and low overhead feedback in the MAC layer is used here. So a highly reliable selective repeat ARQ protocol in the RLC layer is used. The hybrid ARQ protocol is responsible for handling transmission errors by performing retransmission based on the hybrid ARQ processes with incremental redundancy or chase combining, which is handled by the physical layer. Okay. So what is the purpose of hybrid ARQ protocol? So the hybrid ARQ protocol is responsible for handling transmission errors. Okay. How does it handle the transmission errors? By performing retransmission based on hybrid ARQ processes, okay, with the incremental redundancy or chase combining. So that is handled by the physical layer. So what is the ARQ procedure? So ARQ protocol in the RLC layer is to correct the residual hybrid ARQ errors. Okay, so due to the error in hybrid ARQ acknowledgement feedback. So that is the purpose of ARQ protocol in the RLC layer. Okay, so to correct the residual hybrid ARQ errors, these residual hybrid ARQ errors are due to the error in hybrid ARQ acknowledgement feedback. So then ARQ procedures are performed in the AM transfer mode by an AM RLC entity. Okay, so the latency associated with the RLC layer ARQ is much larger. So the reliability of the hybrid ARQ protocol is determined by the error rate of the feedback. Okay, it is costly to achieve a sufficiently reliable hybrid ARQ acknowledgement feedback. The solution adopted in LTE is to use a second layer hybrid ARQ protocol, so which is to correct the error event due to hybrid ARQ feedback errors. Okay. So this additional hybrid ARQ protocol provides a much more reliable feedback protected by the CRC. This design yields low latency and low overhead without sacrificing the reliability. So that is what about the hybrid ARQ. And to say more about that, so more errors are captured and corrected by the low overhead hybrid ARQ protocol. So the more resource demand in in ARQ retransmissions are rarely needed. This ARQ retransmission is triggered by an ARQ negative acknowledgement received at the transmit side of an AM RLC entity. Okay, so the ARQ negative acknowledgement is received either by the status PDU from its peer AM RLC entity or by the hybrid ARQ delivery failure notification from the transmit MAC entity. Okay, so which can happen when the maximum number of hybrid ARQ transmission is exhausted without a successful transmission of the transport block. So the status reporting is triggered by setting the polling field of the RLC data PDU to 1, and the negative acknowledgement reporting is contained in the status PDU. And hybrid ARQ delivery failure is notified by the MAC entity. Okay. So when the MAC PDU is not delivered successfully after the maximum number of hybrid ARQ retransmissions. So upon receiving this an ARQ negative acknowledgement, the transmit side of an AM RLC entity will deliver the AMD PDU. Okay. If it fits within the total size of the RLC PDU indicated by the lower layer, otherwise it will be segmenting. Means it segments the AMD PDU and forms a new PDU segment that fits the PDU size. Okay, so if the maximum number of ARQ retransmissions is reached, then the AM RLC entity will notify the upper layers. So hybrid ARQ protocol of the MAC layer and the ARQ of the RLC layer are terminated in the E node B. So you should be aware what protocol is used in MAC layer and what protocol is used in RLC. See, in RLC, ARQ is used. In MAC layer, hybrid ARQ is used. So that enables the tighter interconnection between the hybrid ARQ and the ARQ protocols. So the benefit of this architecture is fast handling of residual hybrid ARQ errors and as well as the variable ARQ transmission size. So this is all about the ARQ and hybrid ARQ procedure in the MAC and RLC layer. Okay. So next one is the RRC. So what is RRC? That is yes. Anyone can say what is RRC? Radio resource control layer, right? Radio resource control layer. RRC, then PDCP, RLC, MAC, and physical layer. So hope you are aware of that structure, what I have shown at the beginning, right? I think, yeah. See RRC. So we have discussed it from bottom. Physical layer, then MAC layer, RLC. Even in between I said about the PDCP, right? So then let us try to have a discussion about RRC. So this RRC layer takes care of what? RRC connection management. Okay, of course, still we have not discussed what is an RRC connection. So which comes in module 4. So since I skipped that part, so you will not be able to visualize that. I think I will be discussing now, I think in further slides. Then radio bearer control, mobility functions, user equipment measurement, reporting and control, then broadcasting, system information and paging. So all these functions are taken care by the RRC layer. Okay. So just one statement is given here. What is that statement? You don't know how many are active. Any one of you can read that statement. Okay, of course, you all have joined. I hope your involvement is there. So without your involvement, you can't succeed. With your involvement, you can't fail. Okay. So though so much of information about different layers and all, but if you take it in a that diagrammatic way, then it is, I think, easy to understand. Okay. So just what I was saying now, RRC connection management. So with respect to that, so this is about RRC states, that is radio resource connection, okay, or radio resource control. So the LTE has two states. One is RRC idle state, and another one is RRC connected. Okay, so when it is idle, what is the information exchanged between user equipment and the ENB, and when it is connected, so what is the information exchanged between user equipment and the ENB? We'll try to understand that. So this simplifies the RRC state machine handling and the radio resource management, which controls the RRC state. So a user equipment is in the RRC connected state when an RRC connection has been established. Okay, otherwise the user equipment is in the RRC idle state. Okay, so let us try to understand this RRC states, I think, tomorrow. Okay, so when do I say RRC, your user equipment is in the RRC idle state? When your user equipment is not connected to the eNode B. Okay, when the user equipment is in the RRC connected state, then we say RRC connection has been established.